Today is a segment kind of addressing stuff going on the road to TFcon coming up this weekend, something that I get asked all the time, and especially when it's just a couple of days to the convention. I get a whole bunch of questions about con prep, getting ready for the con. What should I expect? What should I do? A lot of times people, it's their very first time doing a convention in general, let alone a Transformers convention. And I never really put these words into one place before. I might have talked about it in other podcasts and other places I've been guested at, but I don't think I've ever really done it proper here. So today is going to be Proto Man's TFcon prep video, specifically talking about TFcon Toronto and what to get ready for and stuff like that. I'm not going to get into hotel room stuff really, because it's a little late in the game for that, but I will say this. When you're planning for getting a hotel room at TFcon Toronto, there always is special rates that are offered by the convention, discount codes, hotel blocks. Those are always available on the website, tfcon.ca. So that is something in the future. If you want to kind of get the best bang for your buck for your room, check that out. Kind of right now, it's kind of too late for that because you want to get it early because that stuff usually sells out, the blocks and stuff. So, but when it comes to having a hotel room, it is important to get a hotel room that is located at the same location of the convention center. It just makes your life way easier. The last thing you need to do is go to the con, buy some big old Transformer product, a Fort Max, a vintage Armada, Optimus Prime, nice big product, and then have to carry that along with you all day, all over the convention, to every single guest, to every panel, to every time you trek back and forth to the bathroom. Imagine having to rest that on the floor of the bathroom because you just need to go do your business. You don't want to have to do that. So it's always best to have a hotel room that's like a 3-minute foot walk away from the dealer room because it's in the convention center location. And then you could drop it back in the room and then continue that party. So that's always what I want to establish. Get a hotel room early and get it on the con location in the future if you have not already. Now let's get down to business. Number one, before you even get to the show, this is something you could do weeks before, months before, but I suggest taking out cash from your local bank before coming to the con. Number one, cash is king. Most of TFcon functions on cash. Yes, there will be some dealers that will have credit card machines or work out some kind of PayPal thing or e-transfer, but in general, cash is king. Most of the guests work with cash. Most of the artists work with cash, and most of the smaller dealers, which most of your best deals will come from, work with cash. And in all honesty, might not be important to you, but it is actually a little more helpful and respectful to the dealers if you work with cash, because if they have to work with credit cards and all kinds of machines like that, they lose a little percentage by using that credit card for your convenience. So cash is king. It always works out better that way too. And again, especially if you're a border crosser, always get that cash beforehand because you don't want to have to deal with all of that when you get on the other side. And another reason, too, that I mentioned get it from your local bank beforehand is because, yes, there is an ATM machine at TFcon in that hotel, but that machine's going to be empty within the first 6 to 10 hours of the convention. Yeah, they might fill it up again the following day, but the last thing you need to do is show up to TFcon on Friday thinking you're going to take out money and that ATM machine is missing. It happens all the time. Trust me, it's a little tiny machine. It does not have $100 million in it. It gets emptied really quickly by the easily over 3,000 people that are at the show that think the same way a lot of people do and think, oh, I'm just going to use the ATM at the hotel. So take out the money beforehand, your own local bank establishment, and that would be best. There'd be no fees too, because these local ATMs in the hotels have fees in them. It just works out better that way. How much to bring? Well, that's up to you. My own personal experience is different from other people's spending habits from one fan to the other. Could be $500, could be $1,000, could be $2,000. That's totally up to you. If you don't feel comfortable carrying that, too much money on you, on your person, look, when you take out that $2,000, you check into your hotel room before anything else. Every hotel room has a safe in the room. It's located in the closet with the code and everything. You put how much you feel that is the bulk of it and that's safe. You take the rest of it with you down to the dealer room. And then when you need more, like I said, the convenience of having the hotel room 3 to 5 minutes away from the dealer room, you could just walk back up and get more money and then go back down. Again, that's the convenience of a lot of things, but it's always better to have the cash, if anything. So now that you got your money, now let's talk about making a plan. Look at the convention schedule before going to the con. It's located on tfcon.ca, and figure out what you want to do. So many people have missed out on guest signings, on panels that they wanted to see because they didn't know it was happening in that moment. They were in the dealer room. Things get busy, and then a panel just comes and goes within the hour that they were spending looking at a bunch of stuff. Sadly, the schedule is not explicitly given out anywhere. It's kind of posted in one area, and of course it's on the website. So it's something that it's better to kind of plan in advance who you want to see, where you want to see it, what panels and everything like that. It's all on the website right now, so you could figure it all out right now early. And then you could write it down, put it on your phone, put it in a note file or whatever, and you could figure it out. Now, let's talk about getting into the con itself. Let's talk about Friday. So you check into your room. Now what? You've checked into your room. Friday comes. You need to get your weekend pass. If you were pre-registered for a weekend pass, show up early on Friday. I always suggest lining up between 2 and 3 p.m. Because while it opens up, the registration opens up for everyone for their badge pickups and everything at 5 p.m., 2 to 3 p.m. is usually the best time to line up because that line gets crazy long. And sometimes it goes quickly. Sometimes it doesn't go quickly. All it takes is 2 guys having a problem there and it just slows up the whole line. So get there early, get that locked in and done, because even though, registration and badge pickup starts at 5 p.m., so does a lot of other stuff at the same time, because Friday has other panels that are happening, charity auction stuff is happening. There's a lot of little miscellanea happening here and there. You probably don't want to miss out on that stuff because Friday always has a lot of really cool stuff that isn't related to the deal room and the con itself. So it's better to get that badge and get that out of your way, and then you could worry about other stuff. After, the only other thing with Friday that I do want to address, which you can't plan for really, is usually by Friday evening, that's when the parts parties and room party board is put up. It's usually located at the registration of the convention in the evening, or sometimes where the hotel check-in is. And it's a cork board. People are going to post their room parties there where you could find other deals and stuff. That's something, too, you would probably want to check out. And again, cash is king because most of those guys aren't stores. They're just guys selling out of their room. A lot of cool stuff could be found, a lot of good deals before you even get into the dealer room the following day. Now, when Saturday and Sunday kicks off, like I said, that's all up to your planning. It's all up to you and what you want to do. So there's not much really I could say about Saturday and Sunday. Just like I said, make sure you got your cash, make sure you got your plans. But Proto Man, what about when Sunday evening comes around and I bought way too much stuff? It doesn't fit into my suitcase. I can't carry it with me on the plane or on my bus. I can't get it home. What do I do? Trust me, I've gone through it too. I've gone to BotCons and TFcons in the past and other conventions where I bought way too much and couldn't bring it with me back. So this goes out to the people obviously who are not driving in. They're taking plane flights. They're taking long distance bus rides. And they just have their suitcase and there's only so much you could fit in it. But hey, you bought that big exclusive. You bought that Fort Max. How do I get it home? Well, this is where I suggest that you find a shipping service, specifically Canada Post, and ship it home. I find that shipping out stuff is way cheaper than getting a second suitcase and having it checked in at the airport, because there's a Canada Post that's barely 8 to 9 minutes away from the convention by car. It's called the Middleville Town Center. It's a Canada Post that's part of Shoppers Drug Mart. Get a cheap Uber, go to it, and you're good to go. Now, before you go, you're obviously going to need a box to ship all your stuff in, and you ain't going to buy a box at the post office because that'll cost you even more money. So usually on the Sunday, if it's pretty clear that you're not going to have any room in your suitcase to take all your toys, Many of the dealers in late Sunday, while they're packing up and it's the end of the convention, they have tons of cases and boxes that they're going to be throwing out and putting in recycling because they sold stuff and they don't need those boxes anymore. So a lot of that stuff is up for grabs. Just ask a dealer, hey, you going to do anything with that big box? I mean, we could use it. And they'll usually give it to you because they don't need it. Their intention is to get rid of boxes that week and come back with less stock than they came with. So you get that box and now you're good to go. Wrap that box up, take some local newspapers or whatever that you could find for free in the hotel to pad it out, package it up, and then go to the post office and ship it home. And I guarantee that, even if it comes to like $30 to $40 to ship it home, that's still cheaper than a second suitcase and checking that luggage in at the airport. That'll usually sometimes come you to $50, even $60. So that's what I would suggest. And that's it more or less. There's not much else I could really say. Those are just kind of the little hurdles that a lot of people encounter, and here's the solutions to them. But I hope that helps you more or less. And I hope you have a very good weekend at TFcon. I hope to see everybody. And these words of advice that I'm giving you here could also be applied to other conventions. It's just that we have this big one coming up right now, so I figured I'd address it with the road to TFcon happening this week. Hope that you got educated, entertained, and informed, like we always do here on the Transformer Slag podcast. And I'll talk to you in the near future. And once again, thank you. Thank you for listening.